This is Chapter 2 of Vivian Carlisle's story. If you haven't heard Chapter 1 yet, we strongly recommend starting there. It sets the stage for everything that unfolds in this part. A powerful woman, a scandal no one saw coming, and now, a reckoning she can't avoid. Click the link in the description to listen to Part 1 first, then come back then because things are about to get personal. I stayed in my penthouse for 3 days. No meetings, no calls, no PR statements. I watched the skyline like it owed me an explanation, pouring bourbon into my coffee until the two tasted the same. The emails piled up. The whispers grew louder. I kept reading the same sentence in the press release over and over. Ms. Carlisle is stepping back from executive duties while the board reviews concerns raised regarding professional conduct. Clean, sanitized, corporate. But everyone knew what it meant. They didn't fire me. Not yet. They wanted to see if I'd save myself. Or sink. Eva showed up on the 4th day. She let herself in with her old security badge, and I didn't stop her. She found me on the balcony, barefoot, in a silk shirt that hadn't been ironed in 2 days. "You look like hell," she said flatly. "Thanks. You're glowing as always." She dropped her bag on the sofa and walked into the kitchen. I heard cabinets opening, water running. When she returned, she handed me tea. Not coffee, not bourbon. "Drink it," she said. "You're not making any decisions half drunk." I took it without protest. We sat in silence for a while. The city hummed below us, unaware of the slow collapse unfolding 30 floors up. "I need to know who did it," I said finally. Eva shook her head. "That's not your priority anymore. It's the only thing keeping me from breaking a glass." "Viv..." "They've been following me for months, Eva. Waiting for the right moment. This wasn't an accident. It wasn't about sex." "I know." Her voice was quieter now. She leaned forward, elbows on her knees. "But you need to stop fighting ghosts and focus on what you can still control. Your name, your legacy, and how the hell you walk out of this with something intact." I didn't respond. I stared at the tea in my hands, watching the ripples settle. Then Eva did something she hadn't done in years. She said my name like a friend. "Vivian." I looked up. She took a breath. "You think if people see the real you, they'll destroy you. But you're not 21 anymore." The words cut sharper than I expected. "I didn't think you remembered that." "I remember everything," she said. "You got pushed out of that firm without a whisper. No lawsuit, no HR hearing. They just stopped returning your calls. You changed cities overnight." I closed my eyes. "There was a letter," I said softly. "In a drawer. I'd written it, but never sent it. She found it. She showed it to my manager. Said she was worried." Eva's eyes were glassy now. She didn't interrupt. "I lost everything that week. My job, my reference, my home, my nerve. That's when I learned. Being honest doesn't make you brave. It makes you disposable." The silence hung heavy after that. Even the city felt quieter. Eva finally spoke. "You've spent 20 years armoring yourself so no one could hurt you again. But all that armor made you lonely, and it didn't even work." I let the words settle. They weren't cruel. They were just true. "You want me to come out publicly," I said. "I want you to do something that isn't hiding." The next day, I opened the email from the board and clicked reply. I didn't write anything, just stared at the blinking cursor. In my head, I heard the voices, lawyers, advisors, brand consultants. Stay neutral. Deny everything. Use vague language. Don't name names. But for once, I didn't want neutrality. I wanted to stop pretending. That evening, I stood in front of my closet looking at the rows of identical suits, navy, charcoal, black, tailored armor, and I reached for none of them. Instead, I wore a simple blouse and slacks. No jacket, no brooch, no mask. At 6:45 p.m., I walked into the building where Eva had booked a studio. A small press room with no windows and 2 cameras, one for live stream, one for archive. The air smelled like microphones and adrenaline. Eva met me at the door. She squeezed my shoulder. "Are you sure?" "No," I said. But I'm tired of being scared." The red light on the camera blinked. I looked straight into the lens. "My name is Vivian Carlisle," I began, "and I am not going to apologize for the parts of myself I kept private in order to survive." The morning after my statement aired, the world didn't end. It didn't applaud either. There were articles, thousands of comments, anonymous threats. Some called me brave, some called me immoral, some called me a liar, but the silence was gone. And oddly, that made the noise easier to bear. At 10 a.m., I walked into the Denmore Stratton building. No disguise, no escort, no apology. The elevator ride to the 58th floor felt longer than usual, like the steel box was weighing my decision. I adjusted the collar of my blouse, crisp white under a navy suit, this time unarmored by jewelry or distraction, and reminded myself I had already done the hardest part. I'd spoken. Now I had to survive what came next. Teresa Lang was already seated at the head of the boardroom table when I entered. She looked up from her tablet slowly, the corner of her mouth twitching in something that wasn't quite a smile. "Miss Carlisle," she said coolly, "we didn't expect you in today." "That makes 2 of us." A few board members glanced at each other. Others kept their eyes locked on the table, like watching a storm roll in and pretending it was weather. I sat down in my usual seat across from Teresa. My chair felt smaller than I remembered. Or maybe I'd just grown. She cleared her throat. "We were just reviewing options regarding the public response." "You mean your response?" I said. She tilted her head. "The company's image is our shared priority, I hope." "Let me save you time, then." I won't be apologizing. That earned me silence, the loaded kind. A few nervous scribbles from the legal advisor at the end of the table. "You've created a complicated PR moment," Teresa said at last. "Investors are calling." "So am I." I slid a printed copy of my live stream transcript across the table. "This is the only version of the truth they'll get from me." She picked it up with 2 fingers, like it might stain her. Read the first few lines. Her jaw tightened. "You admit you paid for discretion," she said. "I admit I paid to protect what I wasn't allowed to be." "And you think that makes you trustworthy in a company built on transparency?" "No," I said. "I think it makes me honest in a company built on hypocrisy." The room got colder after that. One man coughed, another adjusted his tie. Eva, seated 2 spots down, didn't blink. She was ready. I stood. I spent 2 decades in this company delivering results. I earned my position. I broke records. I broke expectations. I did all of it while hiding because I was taught that visibility meant vulnerability. I looked around the room, forcing them to see me. Not the rumor, not the headlines. Me. If this board wants to remove me now, that's your choice. But I won't step down quietly, and I won't go back to silence. Teresa folded the paper in half, not even creased, just folded. "Vivian, this isn't personal, it's business." "It's always business," I said. "Until it happens to someone like you." Her nostrils flared. She smoothed her blazer like she was brushing off dust. "You've had your say. We'll convene again at 4 o'clock. I nodded once and left the room. The hallway outside felt like surfacing from underwater. Eva caught up with me by the elevators. "You just detonated the room." I've been sitting on explosives for 20 years. Felt good to light one myself. She smiled tightly. "They'll vote tonight. Just be ready." "Always am." But that wasn't true. For the first time, I had no idea what they'd do. Back at the penthouse, I didn't pour bourbon. I made coffee, black. I turned off my phone. No news, no speculation, no noise. I sat by the window and waited for something I'd never asked for before. Not power, not control, just clarity. At 4:17 p.m., Eva called. I answered on the first ring. "They're not removing you," she said. I exhaled. Really? They're restructuring the title. You're still out of North America, but they're offering a new global position. More oversight, less spotlight. So I don't scare investors on camera. Something like that. And Teresa? She's not happy, but she lost the vote. I laughed. It was a strange sound. Honest, short, tired. I didn't celebrate. I didn't tell anyone. I just stood in front of the mirror that evening and looked at the woman staring back. Still powerful, still polished, but finally whole. And for once, I didn't feel like I was pretending to be someone else. The new office was smaller, not in prestige, in scale. No boardroom, no skyline. No polished table with 20 chairs and 20 colder faces. Just a sunlit corner suite in a glass tower 3 blocks from the river with floor-to-ceiling windows, a single espresso machine, and no ghosts. I signed the contract with a pen they gave me, not the one I brought. That felt symbolic. The position was technically a promotion. Global strategic partnerships, broader authority, fewer meetings, no public-facing duties. It was what I asked for, control without the spotlight. No one said the word scandal. No one said escort. No one even said gay. But every silence felt less threatening now, because this time it wasn't mine. 2 weeks passed before I saw Sasha again. I didn't reach out. She didn't either. Not after the statement, not after the fallout, not after the city whispered about me and then moved on, like it always does. But one evening, I came home to find a small envelope on my front door. No stamp, no name. Inside was a photograph, black and white, shot on film. A woman's hand resting on a windowsill, city lights in the distance. I knew the hand. The back read, in neat handwriting, "Stillness counts too." I didn't call her. I just walked. 10 blocks to the small brick studio tucked between a bookstore and a florist. The lights were on. I knocked. Sasha opened the door slowly, a paintbrush in one hand, a mug in the other. Her hair was tied up messily. No makeup, just her. "You came," she said. "You left a photo on my door. I wasn't sure you'd know it was me." I knew. She stepped aside, and I entered. The space looked the same, soft lighting, books stacked like furniture, the scent of lavender and old coffee grounds. But it felt different now, quieter, or maybe I was. We didn't say anything for a moment. Then she set down the mug and looked at me. "Are you here to tell me I ruined your life?" she asked, only half joking. "No," I said. "You didn't ruin anything. You just held up a mirror." Sasha's smile was small, almost sad. "Did you like what you saw?" "Not always," I admitted. "But I needed to see it." She motioned toward the couch. We sat a few inches apart, knees not quite touching. "I was terrified," she said. "When the photos came out, I thought I'd never see you again." I thought the same thing. "Then why are you here?" I looked at her, really looked at her, the way I hadn't let myself before, without defense, without projection. "I don't know what this is," I said. "And I'm not here to ask for a label or a promise, but I'm tired of choosing fear over feeling." Sasha nodded. "So am I." We didn't kiss, we didn't rush, we talked. About things that weren't about damage, or scandal, or shame. We talked like people, not secrets. Weeks passed. She didn't move in. I didn't ask her to. We went slow. On Thursdays, she came to my apartment with soup and camera rolls. On Sundays, I went to hers with a bottle of red and nothing urgent to say. We learned how to exist near each other with room to breathe. There was space between us, not distance, but respect. One day, Eva dropped by my office. She brought a box of pastries in a thin folder. Media wants a follow-up. Pride Month, legacy piece, whatever. Let them wait, I said. Eva smiled. You're different. I'm still me. No, she said. Now you're all of you. That night, as I stood by my window overlooking a smaller skyline, holding a glass of something warm, I felt something rare. Not powerful. Not invincible. Not broken. Just real.